Joe, Notre Dame and Indiana took on each other on Friday night. The battle of the state of Indiana, and another ass whooping took place here. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't really have any super new thoughts on Notre Dame, but like the big thing that was reiterated to me is that they played to their identity. They didn't get away from what they were doing well. What got them to this point, and this was again what we did a really damn good job at predicting these freaking games, by the way, and nobody's going to give us credit for that.
I want my credit.
Well, we're giving it to each other. What we talked about with Notre Dame and their path to success is they have to understand that setting up their passing game through running the football is going to win them games. And getting big explosive plays from Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price is what will win them games. And then eventually, Riley Leonard, I said this, and we didn't completely agree on it, but we're kind of on the same page. Riley Leonard needed to convert on third down as a passer. And he did. There were plays that he did, and he was able to do so. And more importantly, on defense, they just allowed their defense to go out there, play fantastic coverage, have fun, attack downhill. They're a bunch of young dudes that are getting better every single week. They have been one of the biggest surprises, in my opinion, with how many true freshmen are stepping up and performing the way that they are. And I think that's what makes them exciting. It makes them a really fun team to track, because I think next year they could be even better defensively because some of their best players are true freshmen. But my main thing here, nothing really new, is them playing to their identity is what is going to keep them afloat. Riley Leonard just needs to, I think, take a slightly bigger step to hit his stride.
So this isn't Notre Dame, but it is a part of Notre Dame. So I tweeted this out. I know that you saw it. Home teams ran the ball for 207.5 yards yesterday, meaning all four home teams ran the ball for 207 yards. Notre Dame had 193 of it. 95 of it, though, came on 33 carries. We talked about this right after the game. So you had the long 98-yard run, right? Big deal. You can't, I mean, big deal. Jeremiah Love is a freak of nature. The thing that I'm worried, I say I worry, but I wonder about them. That means the other 33 carries that you had in the game, you ran for 2.87 yards per carry. So the question now becomes, and you brought up, and I was thinking about this today, you brought up, well, Indiana's defense has been really good in stopping the run all year. You're actually 100% right about that. They were number one in the country statistically in stopping the run. I know a team that's also really good at stopping the run too. You play them in 10 days, right? And so there comes a part where I say, listen, now that Georgia's got a little bit of rest here, I look into that. Now, we're going to talk about that in a minute. I don't want to, get into that. But to your point, I completely agree with you. You say to exactly who you were. I got to be real, man. I went back and watched it again this morning. Safety play was fantastic. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen better safety play in the run game this year than what I saw against Indiana. It was really good. They filled their lanes. They made tackles in the open field. But the biggest thing that I thought for Notre Dame, and we talked about their defense. Offensively, we can have our discussions. Defensively, man, you got to lean on them. Because if you play time of possession and keep away, we talked about this in the middle of the season when they were having struggles. Hey, don't get away from your identity because you're trying to be a new man. Because you want to say, this is my team and I'm different. No, the personnel that you have right now dictates that you need to be this way. Go be that. Go be that man. Go be that team. Go be that person. Biggest thing, though, man, they stopped Indiana on third downs. 4 of 13 on third downs is a very, very big deal. When you're getting off the field literally 9 times in critical situations, it's a massive deal. You're having them to punt. You're getting the ball back. You're able to keep it away. That is what you need to do with the personnel that you have. Defense is going to be really interesting for them this week. But, Joe, they dominated through 3.5 quarters. The only interesting thought that I have about this is Indiana didn't stop fighting. And I wonder if that's just, we won the game, whatever. Or, how do you separate that? Because the way that the question that I'm asking here is, outside the long run, you average 2.87 yards per carry. Then your defense at the end of the game is giving up points. Now, you can say backups were in, and that's fine. Yeah. But at the same time, they weren't in when they scored that second touchdown. They started making a game out of it either.
So, okay, I think that's fair to bring up, and it was a concern that I brought up when we immediately reacted to the game. I don't know what like the how you resolve that, but like what basically happened, and it was why they got really complacent, and it was why they weren't finishing in the red zone. It was the same deal where it felt like they were getting down there, and they were so satisfied with marching the ball down the field that they weren't punching the ball in and finishing off drives. And the same thing happened at the end of the game where they were reading the scoreboard and they were just looking up at the scoreboard, and it was like, hey, look at that. We kicked their ass. We're kicking their ass. This game's over. They weren't going to crawl back and win it. It wasn't going to happen. You know, they get the onside kick recovery. You're kind of just sitting there watching, and we were texting while it was happening. And it was kind of like, this isn't going to lead to anything, but it would be hilarious and frustrating. Okay. Right. You knew that when they got the onside kick that they were going to score off of it. I do think it's something to just keep your eyes on, but I don't think it's anything to be like super alerted, because you just mentioned there that the backups were in the game for a portion of that time. And I can't take a ton away from that, because you already have a bunch of young dudes. You put even younger dudes that aren't even ready to play onto the field. Of course, they're going to give up points.
Throwing this out there, whether it be Georgia, Penn State, or if you get to a national title, if you continue to do that, you are going to lose. And if you do that in 10 days or whatever it is, again, against Georgia will make you pay.
I brought that up on Bleacher Report. I said that you can't do that against Georgia, and you can't do that against Penn State. You just can't. They're too talented.
Certainly – I think you can get away with it with Penn State, because I just feel like James finds ways to lose games. You can't get away with that in 10 days. That's the bottom line. I'm just telling you, we better be careful. You better be careful about that. So we'll see. All right.
BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions, with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.